Yes, hello guys. Welcome back to Stars Philippines Podcast. My name is Paul. And today, pagpapatuloy natin ang ating istorya o yung mga kwento natin tungkol sa aswang. And this episode will feature some aswang stories that was left behind from the previous episodes natin, no? And kung nagtataka kayo, wala ngayon si Boss Rap, ang ating co-host. Busy siya ngayon, so we will be recording another episode this Friday. So stay tuned kayo dyan. And some announcement lang, no? Ang season 6 natin ay syempre parating na po very very soon. So stay tuned lang kayo dyan, chill. And siguraduhin namin na maganda yung season 6 namin. And of course, update sa ating B1 Gang story. Of course, ay maririnig nyo ulit ang adventure ng ating barkadang sina Gino, Jo, Kiko at Boging. So, lahat ng iyan sa ating season 6 ng Stories Philippines Podcast. And of course, inaanyayahan ko lahat na mag-send ng kani-kanilang mga stories sa ating Facebook page, Twitter, or maging sa Instagram. Meron din po tayo niyan. So, maraming salamat sa pagsubaybay. And of course, yung ating website, no? It seems wala na, pero ayusin po natin yan. I-update po natin yan, ang ating website. So, stay tuned lang din kayo dyan. Yan. So, wala nang gatol-gatol pa. Tayo magsimula na po. Okay. Ang ating unang kwento ay pinamagatang Aswang in the Garden. Okay, so ito po, no? This happened in an Iloilo village. There lived in that village a young couple. One afternoon, an old, haggish-looking woman was seen by some members of the household wandering in their garden. About dusk, the wife went out to the garden to gather some bananas. Abruptly, there shot up a violent scream. It was the fire. The husband and the servants rushed to the garden. There they saw his wife, who appeared greatly ill, shouting, "Aswang! Aswang!" They looked at the area she had pointed to, where she had seen the aswang, but they saw nothing. But she was insistent. She saw with her own eyes the aswang in the form of an old woman. Abruptly, something appeared. It was the old woman. She had suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The husband instinctively grabbed her by her little finger. It was the sure way of detaining an aswang. Then, he seized the old woman's throat in an attempt to choke her. Fearing for her life, the aswang said she would remove the spell she had cast on the young housewife. Thus, freed of the grip by the husband, the old woman pulled up a ginger plant and chewed the root. Then, she anointed the victim's breast and abdomen. Almost instantly, the young housewife was healed. Later, the friends and neighbors of the couple urged them to bring the matter before the American officers so that the aswang would be tried and punished. But the couple refused, for they feared that the aswang or her friends might take revenge in some terrible manner against them. Okay. May aswang na pagala-gala daw sa kanilang hardin. At ang nakakatuwa dito is mangunguha siya ng saging kung kailang padilim na. Yun. Yung mga kwentong bayan. Next story natin. Aswang's tongue. May ikli lang yung mga kwento natin ngayon, guys. No? Sabi dito, a young lady in Pampanga who was afflicted with fever stayed up very late in the night sewing her dress. Without her knowing it, an aswang passing by caught. Without her knowing it, an aswang passing by caught sight of her and abruptly descended on the rooftop of the feverish lady's house. Moments later, the aswang dropped down his tongue in the form of a strand of hair near the mouth of the young lady. She, however, would pull the strand away every time it went to her. Irritated, the pesky strand of the hair that kept her touching, the young lady abruptly grabbed the scissors behind her and cut the hair. There was a loud noise that erupted from the outside of the lady's house. This awakened the companions of the lady in the house. They would later tell her that it was an aswang who had tried to attack her. Kala niya parang buhok. Oo nga pala kasi yung ano daw nung aswang, yung dila ng aswang is kasing nipis or kasing liit or ganun ng isang buhok. So, yun. Next story, The Aswang Wife. Okay, ito medyo mahaba siya ng konti. The Aswang Wife. Once upon a time, there was a bevy of beautiful aswang girls who lived with their parents somewhere in the forest of Mayon in the Bicol region. They had fair skin, their faces so mesmerizing and attractive that those who first saw them thought that these beauteous damsels were aristocratic mestizas. A lot of young men thus began to crowd around them, wanting to court and marry them. However, as soon as they were informed or they found out that these young girls were aswang, they made readily aborted their plans and stayed away from these damsels. But there was one young man who, because he was deeply smitten by the beauty of one of the aswang, went ahead and eventually married the girl he fell in love with. Thus, accepted the fact that the girl he married was an aswang. One night, on his wife's summons, he decided to accompany her to Bataan. They would be proceeding to a market at San Ramon. Thus, he got off behind her, and off they flew in the dark sky. The next day, they did their market shopping, buying household and kitchen items. While she was busy buying, he suddenly went into a nearby grove and plucked some pieces of local lemons or calamansi, which he intended to bring home with them. Later that evening, as they flew back home, the wife suddenly felt she was weakening. Her strength was ebbing, and they were sliding down. She then asked her husband. Her suspicion was confirmed. He had in his pocket some pieces of calamansi. On her orders, he took the calamansi and tossed them in the wind. This made her regain her strength, enabling her wings to soar up again. It was in the nick of time, and this prevented them from falling into the bay. Soon, they were safely home. As the husband helped his wife out of the load from the basket they had brought home, he was horrified of what he saw. The items he was bringing out were the organs, innards, and body parts of small children, trophies of her witchery. His wife had attacked while they were in San Ramon. There was nothing anymore that was heard of about the husband. Uy, nakakatakot yun ha. Habang kunyari nag-travel goals sila tapos hindi niya alam umatak yung asawa niya sa mga bata na naroon sa San Ramon. Next, ito maikli lang. The Barangay Aswang. There is a barangay in a Capiz town, or sabi dito, on the informant's request, the town's name is withheld o itinago yung pangalan ng bayan na yon. He said this town is the equivalent of Dueñas, Iloilo, the reported birthplace of the Aswang. Okay. Sabi daw dito, may isang barangay sa Capiz town which is said to be the lair of the Aswang in the province, as most of its residents are Aswang. Kakatakot. Back in the 1990s, there were talks of a small boy who had gone missing. It was said that he had been abducted and was feasted upon by the Aswang residing in the barangay Aswang. Buti na lang nagpunta kami dyan. Hindi namin alam yon. Pero, diba, nakakatakot kasi talaga kapag nasa ibang lugar ka. Yun nga, talagang kailangan mag-iingat, guys. So, next, the Crocodile Aswang. Sabi dito, a man and his 3 sons were riding in their boat, cruising along the Malaylay River on their way to Baco, a small town on the island of Mindoro. Along the way, they noticed a man who hailed them. When their boat neared the bank, the stranger asked if he could ride with them as he too was headed to Baco. The crew, however, politely declined, telling the stranger that they could not accommodate him anymore. The boat is almost sinking, they said, explaining that the combined weight of the boat crew and the rattan did not permit them anymore to load another passenger. And so, the boat continued its journey. As their boat negotiated and went past the next bend, the crocodile abruptly appeared in the water. What happened next was simply way too fast. The crocodile's tail suddenly reared and struck the father, who was tossed in the water and disappeared. Though struck dumb with the astonishment, one of the sons instinctively postured his body in a swimmer's pose towards the water to save his father. His siblings, however, quickly restrained him, telling him that their father was already gone. It certainly would hardly do any good to risk his life to find his father's body, the siblings said. And so, they continued their journey. So, parang pinabayaan lang na, pabayaan mo na yan, wala na, patay na yun. Ganon. Okay, so, sabi dito, when they finally reached Baco, they went about with their business. While there, they happened to enter a house that, out of pure coincidence, turned out to be the residence of the stranger whom they had met along the river bank. Okay. But what struck them as bizarre was the sight of a bolo, their father's bolo, which he carried, which was tied to his waist. At the time, he was knocked overboard by a river crocodile, which was inside the house of the stranger. Oo nga, nakatakot nga yun. The scene made the brothers glance quietly at each other. Imagine you guys. Wasting no time, the siblings departed the house and quickly left the village. They were certain that the stranger was an aswang, for Bako was the village of Aswangs. Oh, ganon. Nice one. Okay, so sabi dito naman, the failed aswang attack. So, ano to? Chill lang yung mga kwento natin ngayon, guys. No? The failed aswang attack. In a small town in Leyte, there was a woman who was about to give birth. For 3 successive days, she had been experiencing labor pains. Neighbors of the pregnant woman, who was now weak, told her that she was being superstitiously attacked by an aswang. On hearing this, the husband became enraged. The next night, he went to hide under the house. Armed with a big bolo, he wanted to be sure if there was indeed an aswang that was preying on his wife. Around midnight, he saw a girl go under their house. He rushed out of his hiding place and struck the girl with a big knife. Swiftly, the girl ran and flew away, disappearing in a flash. The next day, the neighbors of the girl who had escaped saw her hanging from a fence in the yard of their house. When asked, the girl's mother replied that her daughter was sick. She would recuperate later on. Hers was a case of a failed aswang attack. Okay. Bilis ah. Ito next, the feline aswang o yung aswang na pusa. It was already 1 in the morning when she, a young lady, left the wake of a friend. The year was sometime in the 1990s, and being a resident in the village located in Iloilo, she knew no harm would come her way at any time of the day. But she would find she was mistaken. She chose to tread the way near the town river, which was hardly lit. There were no lampposts in that area. As she continued her journey, there suddenly appeared a huge black cat. It was the size of a dog, and to her knowledge, there was no such kind of feline creature in their town. She stilled herself upon seeing the strange creature was intent to attack her. The next moment, saw the young lady traveler engage the dog-sized black cat in a battle. But knowing that she would not stand a chance against the bizarre animal, she decided to flee. As she ran, she screamed so hard that caught the attention of those who were living nearby. Soon, people came out of their houses to rescue the young lady in utter distress. By then, the black cat was no longer around, having disappeared in the dead of the night. The next morning, the young woman showed the huge scratch wound on her back that ran from one shoulder down to her waist. It was the collective conclusion among the town folks that the night creature that attacked her was an aswang. Grabing laki ng pusa. Siguro kung ikaw makita ng ganon, makasalubong ka ng ganon. So talagang napaka ano naman yun, no? Yun. So guys, search nyo lang sa Google ang ating podcast. Yan, makikita nyo. Pwede nyo i-play mismo dun sa search result. Ang kulit. Nasa Google Podcast siya. Yan. Okay. Yan, sinerch ko kasi parang ganda-ganda. Nasa Stitcher din tayo guys sa Apple Podcast, sa marami, player.fm. Yan. unforgettable story. What is this? May ganun ba tayong episode? Parang nakalimutan ko na no? Unforgettable story. Okay. Nandun, basta search nyo lang sa Google. Diba? Stories Philippines Podcast. Radio Filipinas. Diba? Official. Kung saan na tayo napapadpad, guys. So, yon. Ito ang kwento ng unang aswang. The First Aswang. Ito yung kwento magtatapos tayo, ano? So, thank you so much kung hanggang ngayon nakikinig ka pa rin. Maraming salamat, guys. So, ito. The First Aswang. Before the arrival of the Spaniards, there was no aswang yet. During the first year of the Spanish conquest, there lived a couple in one of the regions of the archipelago. The couple was blessed with a child who was just 2 years old at that time. When the Spaniards reached their village, the inhabitants left their homes in great fear of their lives. Eventually, they found refuge in a forested area that provided perfect shelter for them. But there was one big problem. Food was scarce. After a few weeks, all of them died there due mainly to starvation. Only the child of the couple remained alive. Finding himself starved, the surviving child began to eat the decaying corpse of his parents. Days later, a Spanish soldier who was patrolling the area saw the child in the woods. Taking pity, he took the child and adopted him. When the child grew up and became a young man, he began to yearn for human flesh. So powerful his desire was that one night, he waylaid a solitary traveler and after killing him, devoured the latter's flesh and organs. He was said to be the first aswang. Ayun pala yung kwento daw nun. Yung nung dumating yung mga Spaniard, tsaka lang nagkaroon ng aswang. Natatakot yung mga tao. So, nagsettle sila sa isang lugar sa kagubatan, pero yun nga, dahil nga sa tagutom or talagang scarce ang pagkain. Ayun. Lahat sila ay nangamatay sa gutom. And ang natira daw yung bata. Paano kaya nangyari yun, no? And yun, dahil yung bata yung nag-survive, yun, kinain niya yung mga laman. Tapos may nakita sa kanya yung Spaniards, tapos nagpalaki sa kanya. Ayun, siya yung unang aswang daw na sinasabi ng kinukwento. Okay guys, so maraming salamat sa pakikinig ng ating maikling episode ngayong araw na ito, no? Since wala si Boss Rap, no? Yun, patuloy tayo sa ating series about sa aswang. So, season 5 is talaga mainly about aswang. So, guys, thank you so much kung hanggang ngayon ay nakikinig ka pa rin dito sa ating podcast. Surely, season 6 will be more exciting. We are laying down plans ahead na. So, may mga episodes tayo na pinaplano. And season 6 was only about 15 episodes. Without counting those extras again. And sana kasama ng season 6 yung B1 Gang Mysteries natin. By the way guys, if gusto niyo lang mapakinggan ng separate yung B1 Gang, so meron siyang sariling podcast, no? Yung B1 Gang Adventure Mystery, the podcast. So hanapin niyo lang din siya, nasa Apple iTunes podcast or nasa Spotify din siya. And of course, nasa Anchor din. So, if gusto nyong balik-balikan ang kwento nila Kiko, Boging, Gino at Joe sa book 1 to 3, pakinggan nyo lamang yung podcast na yun. Ano yun? Tapos po yun. Kompleto po siya. Book 1, 2, and 3. So, upcoming, ang book 4, ang lihim ng nawawalang agila. So, samahan natin yung adventure nila Gino, Kiko, Boging at Joe sa Davao, no? Dun sa wildlife sanctuary ng mga agila. So, maraming salamat guys. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit like or subscribe sa YouTube channel, follow on Spotify and everywhere you are listening to your podcast. Thank you so much and hope to see you again.